Hey, this is Knife Standards. Today I'm going to be doing my full review of the Vero Engineering Synapse Mini. But first, please follow me at Knife Standards. You can follow me on Instagram, and don't forget to like this video and subscribe to my channel for a lot more knife content and weekly knife reviews. All right, cool. So, yes, we have another Vero on the table today. I have had quite a few. Ooh, oh man, do you see that? It's ridiculous. Come on, Joseph. Come on, man. Insane. Ridiculous. What was I saying? Oh, I've had quite a few Veros on the table lately. I own a decent amount of Vero knives, and I feel like a lot of people were on the Vero Engineering bandwagon, and then they jumped off for whatever reason. I don't know. I heard some people freaking out about the clip and what I don't know what happened, but I am still a firm, enthusiastic believer in Joseph Vero and Vero Engineering. I think that not only does he design really look at this thing. Just insane, amazing, cool, comfortable, epic designs. But, these are OEM'd by Bestech, and Bestech, of course, does a phenomenal job with the fit and the finish and executing Joseph's design. So I'm still a huge fan of Vero, and I'm always keeping an eye out for what he has going on and what is coming next from him. So let's go ahead and check out the COA. We got Synapse Mini, first run, Joseph Vero designer, of course, M390, belt satin. We got some vertical grind lines, vertical belt satin, handle, marbled carbon fiber, and hardware, just the plain titanium raw hardware. This is the miniature version of the Synapse. I also have the Synapse XL, which is the giant version, which is just like a beast of a knife. I think it's 4-inch blade, or if not more. I wanted the Mini originally because the regular Synapse was not available, and the run of the Minis were coming up, and I thought, yep, I need one of these. So one thing to know about Vero knives, even though he's made them more available and they're larger production runs, they're still pretty hard to get, especially when it's a desirable model or a model that hasn't been produced lately. They go pretty quick. So if you're not, he might do a drop at 9 a.m. and if you're not on there 9 a.m., it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough for you. But he's definitely made his knives more available. His last run, which were the Neurons, I think that was his latest design. The Neurons stayed in stock longer than any of his other knives, and I think that the same goes for his mini Axons. I think that's the other run that he did recently. Anyway, so back to this knife. I wanted the miniature version. The regular version was not available. I wanted the mini one because the regular one was not available. I still don't have a regular Synapse, but I have an XL and I have a mini. The XL's action is great, no complaints. There were very few downsides to that review, to that knife. I already completed that full review. And the action on the mini is even better, which is pretty crazy. Because usually a smaller knife has a smaller blade, which makes sense. Thinner blade stock, lighter blade stock. And what happens is if you're looking for this drop shut close, it doesn't happen on a lot of small knives because the weight of the blade is not going to bring the knife down. I think that's the main reason. That's the main reason. So you see a lot of these kind of big cleaver blades that just drop shut. Well, yeah, the action is great, but they're also really big blades. So for a knife this small to have that action is just ridiculous. So good on you, Joseph and Best Tech. I don't know what the hell you did in this knife, but it's phenomenal. It's amazing. So let's go ahead and go over some specs and stuff. We have the marble carbon fiber. This carbon fiber feels amazing. I mean, it just feels, it's not sharp, it's not too grippy, it's smooth, but at the same time, it's not slippery. So I really like this. Of course, it's a bolster lock. This carbon fiber scale is or this inlay, I should say, is protecting the scale, protecting the liner, you know, or I guess it's the lock side, you know, the frame. It's almost like a frame lock that sits inside these inlays. So you don't have to worry about putting any lock bar pressure on there. Lockup is solid. It's gonna lock up not only underneath that jimping right there, but it's actually locking up further in towards the middle, which is great. No tooling marks on the show side pivot. I think that's awesome. I'm pretty sure these are T8. Let's see. Yep, T8 hardware. Very good news. The clip did not bother me at all. Now, here's the thing. As far as I should say, it didn't bother me at all using the clip to go in and out of my pocket. The retention was not too stiff. It felt great going into my pocket and going out. Did not bother me at all during my carrying time when I carry this knife. Where it does bother me is as far as ergos go. On the Synapse XL, I did not feel the clip at all. I'm not sure if that's just because it's a larger knife, but this, you can see, it just pokes me and kind of digs into my palm on the small one, which is kind of a bummer because the ergos are good. Like, my thumb feels comfortable. I get a full 4-finger grip, but I'm just getting poked. So that is a downside, and that may be the only downside. Look at these insane grind lines on the M390. We have a flat grind, really nice kind of Vero signature swedge going on. I mean, come on. I like that backspacer. Oh, one thing to mention is the transition between the inlay, between the carbon fiber and the titanium. I mean, it's like it's one piece. It's really ridiculous. So smooth. Such a seamless transition, which I think is really, I mean, it's hard to do. It's hard. Not a lot of companies can do that. Another thing to note is, besides the ridiculous drop shut action, is the flipper tab. Just like the Synapse and the Synapse XL, it is kind of flush with the scale. So nothing is sticking out, nothing is poking you in your pocket. I mean, if you just kind of turn it like that, it looks like it is just part of the scale, which is super, super cool and comfortable. The actual flipping action, it takes some people a little bit to get used to because you're not like pulling away. This is definitely, well, you can do, let's see, can I do I've been doing the light switch. Yeah, light switch works better. I'll try the push button. Yeah, push button works, but it's just a little bit slower. The detent, by the way, is dialed in for this guy. I have missed the flipper tab before because it does hide in the scale a little bit, but you get used to it. And another thing to note, which I think is really cool, there is this little cutaway inside the scale on both sides. So when you actually go to push, your finger sits in and doesn't get caught with the full scale. It kind of sits into this groove, which makes it a lot easier to do and more comfortable. So you can see, kind of goes into that groove, which I think is awesome. Now, let's go ahead and do a quick size comparison. This is a smaller knife. This is, I would consider this very EDC friendly. It's not quite a 5th pocket knife sized knife, but let's go ahead and get it compared to the Quiet Carry Drift. And let's go ahead and get it compared to I feel like the VBR just lives on my table now. Oh well. I feel like it's such a good comparison knife because it's 3.5 and 8 and it's a larger size knife. Anyway, let's get these measured up. We got 3.5 on the blade, 8 overall. The Synapse Mini, 2.75 and about 6.5 overall. And then of course the Drift, 3 and 7. So yes, I would consider this a small knife. Very EDC friendly, fits in the palm of my hand, but it's not too small. It's almost too small, but it's not. I'll go ahead and get these guys out of the way. And it definitely, after you handle the Synapse Mini, just with the action, it definitely makes other knives feel a little bit clunky and like slow and sluggish, just because of how damn smooth this guy is. Craziness. Now, this does have a detent ball ramp. You can see, it's a little hard to see. Hold on. You can see that little kind of notch, that little groove in there. So that is what, now I can see it on this one. The reason I bring it up is the Chavez, the Rendencion that I had, I'm pretty sure it does not feel like it has one. So if it does, my bad, but I haven't taken it apart. But I was just handling and carrying my Chavez, and it gets stuck. It gets hung up on the detent ball, and it's just like to get past the detent ball, it's this big deal on the Rendencion. And this, no resistance, because it gets caught into that detent ball ramp and just kind of smoothly transitions, which I think is a huge plus, especially if you like action that looks like that. Now there is on the clip side, there's that V slot that you can middle finger flick. So multiple deployment methods, both work really well with this detent. This is just an overall really, really damn good knife. My only real critique here is for this knife in my hand, this pokes the hell out of my palm. I don't see Vero changing his clips anytime soon. Is it a deal breaker? No. Am I going to continue to carry this knife even after this review? Yes, it's that good. Now, one thing that I did notice is if I kind of get my finger set, my first finger a little bit choked back, and then I wrap my fingers around, all of a sudden I'm laying off of the scale a little bit, and the Ergos have improved considerably. Now this, I don't pick up my knife like one finger and then place the other 3, but you see what I'm doing is I'm trying to give my hand some room so that clip isn't poking me. So if I do that, yeah, it's fine, but I would never pick up a knife like that. I would pick it up, let's go ahead and see. I'd pick it up, flip it, and as soon as I get my fingers set, yeah, I'm getting poked. So again, not a huge deal. This is a phenomenal knife. The action is ridiculous. I do like this jimping up top. Provides a little bit of extra grip. Flat grind works well for this knife. I mentioned, I think it was on the Synapse XL, I mentioned that I would love to see a hollow grind, which I also said I don't know if that's possible with the fuller action here. Would I like to see a hollow grind on this guy? I don't think so. I think I prefer the flat grind on the smaller version, but that would be cool to have an option, or to see him do, maybe a limited run of Synapses or Minis or XLs with a different grind or with the hollow grind. I think that would be a cool touch, something unique. If most of them are flat ground, to have the hollow grind, maybe a limited run could be cool. Of course, centering, we know, is going to be perfect, best tech, we know. I haven't disassembled this. Right now, there is no reason to disassemble this. It's running on bearings, of course. And it's just a damn good knife. I really, really enjoy carrying this, and I really enjoy flicking and playing with this knife. The action is, the action, you gotta be careful with it. The action is really satisfying, and this flipper is, I mean, listen here. The action is just ridiculous for a knife this small. Again, not a lot of downsides, just a cool ass knife. Very, very awesome from Vero Engineering. Again, it comes in this pouch, which I'm a huge fan of. I did not like the little paper box that the Neuron came in, but hopefully his next run of things, whatever he's making, comes in the pouches. That just about wraps it up. I have a ton more videos coming your way. Got some cool knives on the table, and of course, a couple full reviews that are about to be filmed. Thank you guys so much for watching. This has been Knife Standards. I will catch you later.